Day in Brazil?
Today here it's a cold and beautiful day. It is the sun is shining like Rodrigo always uh, speaks, and and but it's still cold, but it's a beautiful day and a very bright day.
Good to hear. And I hope you are staying in a warm surrounding, warm and protected. So wishing you all the
Yes,
best.
I'm
Yes,
taking a mate right
yes,
now.
that's good.
Yes,
That's good. Good to hear you. And Philip, shalom, shalom. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. I hope you can hear us. And good morning, Shelton.
Shalom,
Good morning,
shalom.
Ed. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. How are you, Philip?
Well, I'm at work every time we have the sessions. I'm at work, so I will just be listening.
Yes.
If I really have something to say, then to say, but I will generally just listen. I'm working,
Yes.
and I have to focus on my work as well. I can use the phone, but
Yes.
I should be professional and focus more on my work. But I will listen to you, whatever you are talking about today.
Thank you, Philip. And Shelton,
Yeah.
good morning. How are you today?
Good. Ed, how are you?
I'm fine. How is the
Good.
weekend? It's still a weekend and there's a holiday today.
Yes, it's a holiday to remember the last persons who were in Texas who found out 6 months, maybe longer, about the day that the Civil War was over and they were no longer enslaved. So this is the new holiday.
Yes, I read about it this morning. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Now, Fernando, you had a question on Discord. Shelton, maybe you have questions that you would like to ask before we start with the story of Elisha, the prophet, and the woman from Shunem. According to Luria's reading, Luria is Rabbi Isaac Luria. And good morning, Felipe. Good morning. I'm very happy that you're here.
I don't have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I did see the question that Fernando had on Discord. I was interested in the answer, your answer as well. Also, I had a question, just more uh, technical question about the when you write on the board, is it possible to access it through Discord or is it on another app?
Um, is it possible to add? This is interesting. Fernando, can you answer? How do you see the whiteboard or how do you access Felipe? How do you access from your side? Because I have a different
Uh,
preview.
I access here from another site, but I don't know if it is possible to your from your streaming to share it on Discord. I don't know, but
Okay.
I usually access through another link to another site. I will share with you, Shelton.
Thank you so much. I was just curious because I didn't know what the technical answer was. Thank you.
Okay. Shelton, now you speak through the phone or through a PC or an iPad. How do you create a
I, I'm
connection to
I'm
us?
I'm speaking through a phone because I'm not home. I'm somewhere else
Okay.
at the Abbey where I pray at. I'm in the library, but sometimes I'm at home. When I'm at home, I could use the PC and the phone at the same time.
Okay. Okay. Good to hear. Good to hear. Thank you, Fernando, for assisting. And good morning, Rodrigo. How are you today, Rodrigo?
Good morning, Eti. Shalom, everybody. Felipe, Fernando, Felipe, and Shelton. And today it's a beautiful day here, Eti, and I'm very excited to be here. Uh, and I wish that we have good moments here today. Thank you very much.
We will. Good morning, Felipe. I hope you can hear us. Maybe he cannot open the microphone. So I will attend Fernando's question later in a few words and then in writing later on Discord. And now I would like to access with you to the whiteboard. On the whiteboard, Rodrigo, do you have access to the whiteboard? Rodrigo, Fernando,
Yes,
do you see the
yeah.
whiteboard? Felipe, do you have an access to it?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So we have here, like, let's scan what we have.
Hello,
There.
Eti.
Hello, Felipe. Good morning.
Hello, hello. I'm in the schedule. I'm in the street, so I'm only hearing in the phone right now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So we shall
Thank you.
summarize. Yes. We are reading here from 2 Kings chapter 4. This is the text here on the left, and under the painting there's a text from Kings 2 chapter 4. This is the story of Elisha the prophet and the great woman from Shunem. And on the right side of the painting we have Luria's writing, Rabbi Isaac Luria reading, or how he sees the text. Of course, he sees the text in a lateral way, or non-linear way, or allegorical way, and we shall read the English or the Hebrew text, we shall speak about the painting, and then we shall move and translate Luria's perspective and also ours, because it is also that's through the conversations that we hold here, new perspectives are being born. Now, the question is as follows. Who would like to start reading the text here? There are 2, let's say, columns in English. We need 2 volunteers, at least for the beginning.
I can start it.
Yes. Do you see the text clearly?
Yes.
Good.
So Kings 2 chapter 4 verse 8.
Yes.
And it fell on a day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And so it was that as oft as he passed by, he turned in thither to eat bread. And she said unto her husband, Behold now, I perceive that this is a holy man of God, that passeth by us continually. Let us make, I pray thee, a little chamber on the roof, and let us set up for him there a bed, and a table, and a stool, and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he cometh to us, that he shall turn in thither. And it fell on a day that he came thither, and he turned into the upper chamber and lay there. And he said to Gehazi, his servant, Call this Shunammite. And when he had called her, she stood before him. And he said unto him, Say now unto her, Behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done for thee? Wouldest thou be spoken for to the king, or to the captain of the host? And she answered, I dwell among my own people. And he said, What then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, Verily, she hath no son, and her husband is old. And he said, Call her. And when he had called her, she stood in the door. And he said, At this season, when the time cometh round, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, Nay, my lord, thou man of God, do not lie into the handmaid.
Thank you so much, Fernando.
Okay.
Now, who would like to read the second page?
I can read.
Thank you.
The second page was just a continuation of what Fernando just read.
Yes.
Okay. And the woman conceived and bore a son at that season, when the time came round, as Elisha had said unto her. And when the child was grown, it fell on a day that he went out to his father to the reapers. And he said unto his father, My head, my head. And he said to his servant, carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon, and then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, and shut the door upon him, and went out. And she called unto her husband, and said, send me, I pray thee, one of the servants, and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of God, and come back. And he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is either neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, it shall be well. And then she saddled an ass, and said to her servant, drive, and go forward. Slacken me not the riding, except I bid thee. So she went and came unto the man of God to Mount Carmel. And it came to pass, when the man of God saw her afar off, that he said to Gehazi, his servant, behold, yonder is that Shunammite. Run, I pray thee, now to meet him, and say unto her, is it well with thee? Is it well with thy husband? Is it well with the child? And she answered, it is well. And when she came to the man of God to the hill, she caught hold of his feet, and Gehazi came near to thrust her away. But the man of God said, let her alone, for her soul is bitter within her, and the Lord has hid it from me, and has not told me. Then she said, did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, do not deceive me? Then he said to Gehazi, gird up thy loins, and take my staff in thy hand, and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. If any salute thee, answer him not. And lay my staff upon the face of the child. And the mother of the child said, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. And Gehazi passed on before them, and laid the staff upon the face of the child. But there was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he returned to meet him, and told him, saying, the child is now awaked. And when Elijah was come into the house, behold, the child was dead, and laid upon his bed. He went in therefore, and shut the door upon them twain, and prayed unto the Lord. And he went up, and laid upon the child, and put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands. And he stretched himself upon him, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. Then he returned and walked in the house once to and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called to Gehazi and said, call the Shunammite. So he called her. And when she was come in unto him, he said, take up thy son. Then she went in and fell at his feet, and bowed down to the ground. And she took up her son and went out. And Elijah came again to Gilgal, and there was the dearth in the land, and the sons of the prophets were sitting before him. And he said unto his servant, set on the great pot, and seize pottage for the sons of the prophets. And one went out into the field to gather herbs, and found a wild vine, and gathered therefore wild gourds his lap full, and came and shred them into the pot of pottage, for they knew them not. You want me to continue?
Thank you, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, Shelton. Now,
You're welcome.
thank you. I would like to return to the first, it's not the first here, but it's verse 8. And it fell on a day that Elijah passed to Shunem, where was a great woman. Now, the question is, when we read this verse in English, Hebrew, or any other language, in Hebrew we read the text, Isha Gdola, great woman. What comes to our mind when we see the text, great woman? What comes to mind? Who would like to access this text?
Maybe someone of high status,
High status, yes, yes,
maybe important in the community,
yes, yes.
or maybe a spiritual woman. I'm not sure.
Yes.
See,
Rodrigo, yes. Thank you, Shelton.
the word Gedulah that appears in the verse 8 is the same that the Sephira Hesed, the other name of the Hesed Sephira.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes, yes. Excellent. Gedula is like grace, chesed. It's a parallel word. Yes. So, what does it mean now? Isha Gdola, great woman.
With a good heart, maybe.
With a good heart, good deeds. Yes, and let's see what Luria says about Hashunamit. When we read the text, we think about what? Historical story, isn't it? There was a great woman from Shunem, and she used to live in this place with her husband. We think about figures that lived somewhere in a very far history. But Luria reads the text differently. Luria refers to the great woman as the soul. The soul, again. The great woman is the soul. I'll write here on the whiteboard, a great woman refers to the soul. Now, let's try to see. Let's try to read. Can you read, please, Fernando, the text, verse 8, and instead of reading and there, please read the word soul. And there, yes, please now read the verse, and instead of great woman, insert the word soul.
Okay. Vayhi hayom vayavor Elisha al Shunem Vashem Isha Vashem Neshama Veta Chazek Bo Lechol Lachem Vayichi Midei Hu Yaser Shama Le'ehol Lachem.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Fernando. So, Elisha passes through Shunem. How Luria reads the word Shunem. Shunem. He says this is like shemen. Shemen is like oil. Shemen with vav, shamno, his oil. His oil, meaning the divine oil. And the day comes and Elisha passes through his oil. The divine oil. And there, at the divine oil, Shunem is not just a geographical place, but Shamno, Shemen plus Vav, Shamno, his oil. What is yes, Fernando?
The oil of the Zeranpin, the Vav.
Yes, excellent. The oil of the Zeranpin, the Vav. Yes, excellent. his oil. And there's a what? There's a soul. Sham, there's a soul. And the soul constrained him to eat bread. What does it mean when the soul constrained Elisha to eat bread? Do you remember last week we were looking at the name Elisha? Do you remember the value of Elisha? Let's open it and reminds us, because this is how we slowly go into Luria's
411.
Yes. Elisha, in this case, I think it's 11. Yes, Elisha is 400. Thank you. Elisha, let's go. Elisha is 411. Which word is very close? Kadosh. Kadosh, holy, has 410. Holy plus 1, or Elisha, in this case 411, the 1 assimilates, so it's 410 or 4 to 1. So we can read the name Elisha also as the name Kadosh, which means holy. Now he passes not through a geographical place or territory, but he passes through his oil, the divine oil. And there, the Vav, like Fernando expressed it, the Vav of Zer Anpin. And there's a great woman, but we see this as Luria, as the soul. There's a great soul, or a soul. And the soul holds him not as a person, not as a persona or a historical figure. The soul has something to do or constrain with the holiness. And she holds him to eat bread. Which kind of bread? What is the value of bread in Hebrew? 78. Now we shall write the letters and see what happens here. Who holds who? Yes, we have the 4 letters. 1 second, I'll take a bigger or thicker pen. Let's say 5. Yes, we have here. So we have here a great woman. Great woman. Make it a bit thinner. This is the soul. Also, Shunem. We have here Shin and Mem, which create the word Shem, name. Elisha passes through Shunem, as Fernando offers, Shunem, or Shamno, his oil, the oil of the Vav, of Zeir Anpin, and Elisha has 411, like Kadosh. He passes through the Vav, his oil, and there, now this is interesting case, when the Vav is being pregnant in the belly of the hay, in the soul, and there he meets a great woman, the soul, and she holds him to eat bread. Bread 78. What is 78? Is 3 times 26. But also there's a transmission between the 7, space and time. Here we have 7 sphere, here we have 6, plus 1, the hay is 1. So here we have 7, and Binah is the 8. The connection between the 7 and the 8 is 78, or bread, and she holds him to eat bread. But what kind of bread? His bread, the divine's bread. What is the divine bread? 3 times the tetragrammaton. Questions so far? Do we have a connection?
I'm following it. It's beautiful. Following it's a beautiful idea. Just to trying to connect this story now with this concept.
Yes. Unlike, and how did we arrive to this story of Elisha and the great woman from Shunem? Last week we read a story about Elijah, Eliyahu, and a widow woman. A widow woman is not a status on paper, but the body, we learned last week that a widow refers to a body without a soul. A widow is a body without a soul. Now we meet a different story when the man of God is not Eliyahu, but Elisha, his student, and the woman that he meets, first of all, she is married. She's not a widow. She is married. And she is not a regular woman, but a great woman. From this reading, Luria finds that the text does not speak about a persona, but Elisha met the soul.
It's interesting because she's an old woman. I know it is an ancient, like the soul, you know.
Yes, yes, ancient, yes, yes.
And his husband also is an old man, it seems. So.
Yes. What does it mean? Her husband. This is interesting. Her husband is old. What is the abbreviation of old? Old in Hebrew, old, zaken. What does it mean, zaken, in Hebrew?
The one who remembers. Right?
Yes, yes, the one.
Or who by wisdom.
Yes, zekana chokhmah. Yes, this brought wisdom, chokhmah. So, in other words, what do we speak about a couple, a biological couple, that on their papers, are they aging on paper? No. It means that her husband, the husband of the soul, is what? Wisdom. This is what it means when a husband, the husband of the soul, is wisdom. Do we understand that? Or not yet?
Yes, yes.
Yes, it is well understood. We don't speak now about biological people or a persona. We speak about qualities. The husband of the soul is wisdom.
And she prepared to Elisha the upper room. Right?
Yes. What is the very good? What is the upper room?
The attic.
The attic. The attic. It is close to the roof, to the infinite. This is the attic. If this is the house, the Vav and the Hey, yes, this is the house, and this is, so to speak, the attic here. The attic, the Yod. It's like half a room. In Europe, I don't know, it's in other places, I've seen it in Europe, that under the roof, there's a bit of space. Some people put furniture or unused tools or like papers or things that they don't want to hold in their houses, but they still have memories. But here there's a space, and under the roof people put things. But this is not an architectonic setup. When she makes Elisha Aliyah, the attic, it's a space. She prepares for the Vav or for the Kadosh a space, and the space is the Yod, because the Yod here, wisdom, is most close here to infinite. The attic. The attic. We call it in English the attic. It is very close in Hebrew to Atik, Atik Yomin, the ancient one, because here it's very close to the infinite. Do we understand this concept?
Yes. We have a game of words here about Elisha that I'm seeing, that is like he is a man of God. You know, his name is El Isha. Like,
Yes.
And a man of God is Ish Elohim, right? So
Yes.
it seems for me like it is the same. Elisha could remember this idea of man of God almost.
Yes, it's true. It is true.
So I was
Yes.
thinking from this story that if the soul is making a space within for the man of God, that perhaps the story is saying that when we make space for the infinite, the one that the infinite sends, there will be a birth of something that we didn't know we could give birth to, but it becomes real, it becomes possible, because we've made space
Yes.
for the infinite, for the
Yes.
one who brings the infinite.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Now there's a little painting here that we can see. Whom do you think in the painting is the great woman?
In the middle of the picture, in the painting, there
Yes.
is a
Yes. 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 That's true. The mirror is the great woman. It's also great, not a great woman physically, but great quality, because the soul is very humble. She is, in a way, her height is lower than the other figure who participate in the painting. She is like humble. She is like lowering. Maybe the painter made her little, but it seems that she is like kneeling or asking. The soul is very humble. Now, if there aren't any questions, I would like to read with you. Yes, there is a comment here on YouTube. Claudette, shalom, friend. Thank you for the wisdom. Yes, yes. Thank you, Claudette. And I would like to read with you in Hebrew and translate it to English. And this is the secret. V'zeh sod, and this is the secret. Vehi midei ovo, and whenever he passed, Yasur shama, that he moved there. We say in English there, in Hebrew shama, shama. And Luria says that shama there is the same letters like Moshe. Moshe, or we also know this Hashem. Those letters Moshe. Le'echol lechem, to eat bread, because it's a must. And now says the Shekhinah, the Holy Spirit, to the Holy Blessed He, that in every generation He has to go and to come in different perspective. The Hebrew says Gilgulim. Some people read this as reincarnations, but in a different forms, until comes the Savior. And this is why we have to prepare him a beautiful body. And this is why the woman from Shunem asked her husband, Naasena, let's do together a little attic, meaning to build the body from the Torah, because the Torah is called little city, and while being there, nothing shall be like from him, meaning like a bed and a table and a chair and menorah, meaning lamp to illuminate, and he will need none from the rest of human beings. Like the sun that influences its light to its other members, and he lacks nothing. And regarding a bed, this is a hint to his mate that he shall find. A table, as we remember, that nothing will lack. A chair, meaning to prepare a good spirit, that he will make a chair for the soul, and he shall be a complete righteous. And then the oil shall not lack upon his head. A soul to soul called menorah, lamp, and all those preparations he will pass to the place of his generation and illuminate for them, and he will enjoy also from the same preparation. This is why you will find in the ending letters of those four elements, the final letters of mitah, meaning bed and a table and a chair and a menorah, hana'ah, meaning enjoyment, because this is what the soul enjoy in this world. And this is why the Holy Blessed, he says that people who would like to enjoy the world will have enjoyment like Elisha. I hope it is not too complex to understand. Do we understand how Luria reads the text?
It's beautiful.
Can you state again, Eti, what was the symbolism of the chair, the meaning of the chair?
The meaning of the chair is to prepare a good spirit, that he will be a chair for the soul. Meaning, what does it mean, a chair? To prepare a good spirit, and the good spirit is a chair, meaning a place that the soul can stay. Yes, do we understand? Good spirit, the Vav is a good spirit in the heart. If there is a good spirit in the heart, the soul, which in a way it's a higher agency than the spirit, neshama, Soul is higher than spirit. So if there's a good spirit in the heart, then the soul, which is a higher agency, can come and dwell inside. What does it mean to prepare a chair? People, when they go to somewhere, let's say to a chapel, to a coffee house, and they look for extra chair physically to sit. This is external chair. But here we speak about mental chair. What is a mental chair? Yes?
Can we compare the chair with a throne, a place of ruling where the power comes from?
No, this is not power, not at all. This is not power. No. Not power. Not at all. Not power. Did you understand? Yes.
Is this more like a fellowship, a place where the soul can come and reside and partake of whatever's on the table? Perhaps. The other thing I thought about, Ed, as you were speaking, is the Shema Israel, right? Listen, O Israel, and that the Shema is to listen, is to say what is required of me. What does this person that I'm listening to need from me? Like the Shulamite woman, she was asking, what does Elijah need? And she was opening herself to this, to his, whatever his need was. And in return, he opened himself to what her need was. So there was a kind of a congruent, there was a coming together of listening. He didn't know what she needed, so he asked, and she was asking herself, and she came up with an answer and shared it with her husband. Wisdom.
Yes.
And Shema has the same gematria of Elisha.
Yes.
Yeah.
410. Yes. Listen. That's correct. Thank you, Fernando. Thank you. Fernando, yes, I heard you.
May I ask you something?
Yes, sure.
Yes. Because this topic, this idea, let's say, of the Ibur that you see in this text, I was reading Luria yesterday about the 12 spies, and he speaks that I know that I hope I did not go too far from this story, but the idea is that when the 12 spies are going to see the promised land, they are holding an Ibur from the 12 tribes. But only 2 spies, only Caleb and Hosea could hold this Ibur. The other 10 sinned, so the Ibur went away. And so my question is, if you could clarify what means this soul that we receive, that maybe come to visit us. Let's think that Elisha is visiting each one of us, and how to make it proper and to not run away, because it seems that if you do something wrong, this divine soul just cannot stay, just leave. I don't know if I understood correctly at you, and please feel free to correct me, but if you could say something about this idea.
Yes, but first I have to ask a question, because there are several offerings in the thought that you offered. First, there is what the soul prepares for Elisha. The soul. We shall move here on the text. The soul offers Elisha the ethic. What does it mean? The soul offers Elisha, which passes like a spirit, offers Elisha a space, under the infinite, which is, in a way, it's not a big space, but it's in connection to the infinite. And there, the soul prepares for Elisha 4 elements. A bed. I will write the 4 elements. We have, let's say, Mita, this is bed. Shulchan, table. Kiseh, this is chair. And menorah, illumination. 4 elements. Luria looks at the ending letters of those elements. And we have Hana'ah, enjoyment, or to enjoy. What people usually think when they wish each other to enjoy life is to have a good ice cream. And so, yes, to enjoy a good meal. But here the enjoyment is different, is spiritual enjoyment. What is the spiritual enjoyment? What does it mean to make a space in the heart for a good spirit? What does it mean? Slowly I will, Fernando, answer your question, not in a direct way. Slowly. What does it mean to make a space in the heart? We go through the day. Yes, Fernando, did you want to answer?
Maybe to not be in control of what happens, like
Yes.
being open to
Well, yeah, and I wanted to add to Fernando. I think one of the things I've been doing over the last few months is to be open to seeing the hand of God in everyday
Yes.
experiences.
Yes.
To be open to seeing the manifestation of God
Yes.
in the mundane.
Yes. Yes. So when there's a space in the heart, not just see like what the TV or what people look externally at politics and say it's bad, but to, first of all, to reject those impressions that something is wrong or broken, and to start from good, that everything is fine as it is, and there's no, so to speak, things to negate, and there's a space for good, so good spirit. And then when there's a good spirit, the soul can come, because the soul is a higher agency, but the soul in a way needs a hook, a space to be. If there's no spirit, meaning space in the heart for goodness, the soul will not connect. This is why Luria says that those 4 elements are coming together as 4 elements which are in a way the elements that holds the righteous man's spirit. Why is it important to have a bed? A bed is not just a physical element when we rest and put our head. In Hebrew, bed is we are writing it as mita. Mita is mat, like from 2 perspectives. One of them is mata, meaning when a person puts his head and his head is in the height of his legs, meaning we are not in control. Like Carl Jung says, when comes a dream, it comes as it comes. We don't control dreams. So it is very important to notice that we are not in control. The second element is the table, what life sends to us. Like Shelton says, what through our everyday life in the manifestation, what is life sending? Shulchan from sholeach. We say table in English, like tablet or something square. But in Hebrew, shulchan is from to send. What the day sends to us. It's not just a tangible table, but what kind of communication. All kinds of hints and stories which are being told in the background, not all the time in the front, and a chair, a space in the heart. And what is a menorah? What does it mean that the woman from Shunem, or the soul, put a menorah in the attic? That a person is the menorah. The person can illuminate each and every one, but he's like the sun. The sun does not need any illumination of any other heavenly body, not the moon, not the stars, because the sun just gives. If we have those 4 elements inside of us, those 4 elements are the 4 elements that are serving a holy man, or the holiness in us. Do we understand this concept?
Yes.
Fernando, did I answer your question?
Yes, it is to be present in the day, like to. I'm connecting. It's beautiful, everything that you said. I'm just trying to integrate it in the daily life,
Yes.
Just to.
What does it mean to have a bed? Yes. Yes.
Eti,
Yes.
since you mentioned these 4 elements that Luria chose to us, the bed, the table, the chair, and the menorah, I just tried to fit this with the 4 letters of the tetragrammaton.
True.
If you could help me. Please.
So what did you come up with? Let's see. There are many readings. Everything is possible. So I would like to hear. You would like to connect the 4 elements with the 4 letters of the tetragrammaton, which is right. Now, how did you connect them? In what way?
Oh, it's difficult to me. I prefer to listen to you. I just, regarding these 4 elements, I just remember that chair, the same word of kiseh, the throne, which means Adonai, Hashem Adonai, something like that. With I don't know. The kiseh is the throne of the king, and I don't know if it would be the second rei. I don't know. I just try to fit, but I need your help to do it well.
Yes. Okay. So one there are many possibilities, and there's no one absolute. Mita, the bed is like, yes, with the bed there's like very immediate connection to the ground. So this is the bed, or malchut, or belief, emunah. Bed always symbolizes belief. Why? When we put our head on a pillow or on a bed, it's not about our cognition, because our head at the same height of the feet. It's about belief that everything is as it is. This is the bed, and the way we make our bed is the way we believe. But this is for another story. So bed is the last hay of the tetragrammaton. Shulchan is the vav, because the table, shulchan, is higher in a way. Is higher than a bed usually. A table or a desk, yes, is the vav. The chair, kiseh, is where the soul sits. Here, this is a chair. This is a possibility. This is what Luria says. Yes? And here the menorah is here. Menorah. Because what illuminates? The divine wisdom. The divine wisdom illuminates everyone, and it's like the sun. It doesn't need anything else from anyone. Do we understand? Does it connect?
Yes, it's beautiful.
Great, Eti. Thank you very much.
Here I was looking at the word hine as well, that is pleasure, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If we add the letter bet, uh,
Mm-hmm.
behine, I think that is with pleasure, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
gives this 63. That is the idea of bina, right? Is the idea of
Yes, yes,
just to give with
yes,
pleasure, like a mother giving to a child.
yes, 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 yes. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yes.
I was thinking at what you were saying earlier about spiritual enjoyment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I was thinking that spiritual enjoyment results in peace and shalom.
Yes, yes. Excellent, excellent. Yes, because when people dealing and try to find pleasure in temporal things, like Seneca, the philosopher Seneca, ancient one, says that mortal uh, ambitions, this does not give any enjoyment, because peace is not something which is it's not a mortal thing. Peace is a state of mind. It's not a mortal ambition. How do you resonate with this text? Because we were reading the English and we moved to quick reading of Luria. How do you feel with this movement?
You know, this text and the way you shared it, particularly with the chair, making place for Elijah with the chair. I was thinking, Etty, that you, when someone eats, when they eat at the table, they don't just eat, but they also share. They
Yeah.
share wisdom, they share insight.
Yes.
Um, and you know, and if we see the Elijah as the symbol of the divine, in my tradition and culture, there's a song that says, in part, you can't be God's giving, no matter how hard you try. Right? That the Shulamite woman, she made these four things available to Elijah, but what she received, a child, uh, was more than what she could have ever have given to him. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so this is just something I want to share before we close for today.
Thank you. Yes. Felipe, Fernando, Shelton, and
It's
yes,
beautiful. It's beautiful also because if we think that child is Ben, the
yes,
son, right?
yes,
And Ben is the manifestation, is the 52.
yes,
Just taking the ideas of Luria, right? Is coming down from the 63 to the 52. That is the child, the manifestation.
yes, yes. How do you feel in general in the future to read the text from the Bible and to move through Luria's reading? How do you feel with this perspective? You find it challenging, possible? Just what is your thought about it?
Me, for me, I'm finding it very interesting. I never read Luria before, and I don't know Hebrew either. And I'm finding this very interesting, even though some things that are a bit challenging to accept them. But otherwise, it's a very interesting perspective to try and accommodate it. And for me, I'm finding it very, very pleasing. It's giving me that satisfaction of learning something new. And you're presenting it in a way that it's understandable.
Thank you.
For me, it's great as well, Eti. As Philip said, it's challenging and it's beautiful, so I thank you.
You're most welcome. I just, is it, the question is, do you feel a great distance from the way you read the text in English or in any language and the way Luria sings? Do you feel there is a great jump, or there is it's too much, the arc, it is like stretching too much? How do you feel with this movement from the bare Bible to Luria? This is stretching too much, or how do you accept it?
I see it as a rising. To me, his teaching is a way of taking it to another level,
Mm-hmm.
taking our spiritual understanding to the attic, to the higher realm, to see the text in a much more profound way that speaks to our hearts and souls. And to me, it reflects on the need for us to prioritize our spirituality before everything else, to keep it as the foundation. Even though we're going to the attic, in its one sense, he's taking us to the attic, but really it's the foundation of the building.
That's true. That's true. As the verse says, Reshit Chochmah, the beginning of wisdom, is to how do you say, to sense the Lord. Yes, it is true. It's the foundation.
Yeah. I was talking to someone maybe a week or two ago, and that was the same verse too. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The reverence. But I wanted to ask you a quick question.
Yes,
Maybe you
yes.
could post something in Discord,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a resource that's for those of us like Philip and I that maybe are not as versed in Luria. Is there a particular text or resource that you found to be really good introductory text on Luria, Isaac Luria?
I think that, thank you for the question. Fernando, can you recommend an English text?
Yes,
Yes.
it has one that I like very much that Rodrigo found, and it says it is a translation in English, and we have the Hebrew together, so it's very good. The name it's called Apples from Orchard, but is it is a collection of thinking of Luria, because this book follows the parashot, so you can read the Bible at the weekly portion and follow with the Luria's idea about it. So for me it was great, and we have another translation in English from Luria, that is the Tree of Life. We have
Yeah.
two editions on the Tree of Life in English already. So these two books, I think that they are great to follow the Luria's idea.
Thank you. Thank you, Fernando, for sharing. Thank you, Rodrigo, for finding, and Fernando, for your question about the man who was measuring trees on the seventh day. You remember your question on Discord? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And the man, his name was Tzlofchad. Tzel Pachad. He was afraid from the shadow. Tzel Pachad. He was afraid from the shadow, and he was measuring the trees. In the seventh day, he was measuring which one is bigger, the tree of life or the tree of knowledge. In the seventh day, let's look at the word Sheva. Sheva is the seventh. Shabbat. Yes. And he was equivalating, meaning measure. Sheva, שווה. מלשון שווה, equal. he was measuring in the seventh day what is worth more, the tree of knowledge or the tree of life. And the Zohar that you offered to read, or few places in the Zohar, says the following: when a person tries to equal, to put together and to measure this against that, the fact that he just even considered to measure two different things and to put them together, this kind of thinking already kills him. Do we understand that?
What was the last thing you said, Etty? I didn't hear the last word that you used.
About Fernando's question?
Yeah, the last word you said, the last sentence. Can you repeat the last sentence?
The
When you tried
fact,
to put,
yes, the fact that, because it's not about, again, it's not about persona. The Bible does not speak about people who lived in history. It's about us. When a person try to measure this against that, this kind of thinking or measuring this against that is already killing the person who has this thought.
It's interesting. It makes me remember also what Felipe said about the basket of fruits.
Yes.
Also there.
Yes, to count, yes. It's not that we count how many apples, it's a basket full of fruit. This is it. Complete basket with fruits. Excellent.
it makes me think also the verse about you talk about duality, that this is a duality and God
Yes.
is one.
Yes.
And also when Adam was told, in the day that you eat from the tree of knowledge, you will surely die.
Excellent.
This goes back to the Garden of Eden, really.
Yes.
It's told not to do that.
Yes. Eating, this is very interesting because eating, this is it. Eating here is calculating. If you think that, if a person think he can calculate God, the thought itself that God can be captured, it means death. The body, the heart, everything continues to move, but the thought is a killing for the man who experienced the thought. A person who tries to catch the infinite in his thought. It's not to be captured.
And what's interesting, Etty, about this experience that Adam had when he spoke with Satan, Satan said, well, God knows that when you eat of this fruit, that you will be like him. This is why he doesn't want you to eat the fruit. It's kind of what you were saying about trying to be on the same status as God.
Yes. If we read the opening, very good, of Elijah, Ptichat Eliyahu, Fernando, Petach Eliyahu, or Ptichat Eliyahu, according to the text of the Zohar, the first line is, you are one and cannot be captured in a thought. This is the opening of Elijah. This is how the book of Zohar opens. You are one, and I will say the words in Aramaic because the text was written in Aramaic. Ant huchad, you are one, vela bechushban, and cannot be captured in a thought.
This is, I just read a tweet this morning, Etty, and everyone on the line, that very similar to what you just said, and the tweet that was given from a mother to a daughter was, your destiny is greater than your circumstance.
Excellent. This is it. Circumstances are in time and space. Circumstances is in time and space, but life is much cannot be captured. Thank you so much for participating today. I would like to greet you in a very beautiful week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, it was
You're-
amazing.
You're
Thank
dear
you,
to me.
friends.
You're
Thank you
all
so
dear to
much.
me. Thank you so much. And Wednesday, Fernando Felipe, there's a live interview with Jill.
Yes,
we shall be
yes.
here. Yes, at the same time, there's a beautiful live. Yes, Fernando, would you like to share one sentence with us to prepare us?
It is about the book of Esther, right? We have a question here about what is the difference between the spirit and the soul, and I think that the text talks about it, right? About the spirit and the soul, the neshama and the ruach. So maybe we could talk about this
as well.
Yes.
Yes. So yes, I think that Jill could speak to us about the neshama, the soul. She was reading for us the amazing scroll of Esther that was written by Weinreb in German, and then it was translated to English. And Fernando and Felipe will interview Jill. Yes, Fernando? And we shall stream this conversation or this live interview, and everybody is welcome to participate in listening and in asking questions. Yes, Fernando?
Yes.
Thank you so much, and we can communicate to each between us via Discord. So everybody is also welcome to join us to Discord. On Discord, there's a link under the YouTube video, and you can join us. So thank you so much, and see you on Wednesday at the same time.
Thank you. See you on Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Shabbat
Thank you,
shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
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 Shalom. Thank you.
Shalom.